one of the reasons that we shut down in the first place is because we're overwhelmed. We're so sensitive. We're overwhelmed with the amount of input. We can't process it. And we have this problem where we pick up other people's thoughts. We don't know what's our thoughts and what's someone else's thoughts, and what's our feelings and someone else's feelings, and we don't know what's someone else's emotions and what's our emotions. So Kim has done a lot of work with this, and he's very proficient in assisting people to be able to get really clear on those boundaries. So I'd like to share him to share in his own words, his own understanding of his own journey with that, because he's manifested some serious health conditions because of it, and he can talk about that, and I'm sure you relate with that. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Michael. Yeah, oversensitivity. I've got it. We've probably all got it. It's probably easiest for me if I speak about my experiences of it and where it led me in the beginning. I probably first became aware of it when I manifested chronic fatigue syndrome, and probably put me out of action for about 8 years. And I tried a lot of things to work with that. Did a lot of the nutritional stuff, cleaned up my act a little bit, but not as much as I could have. But the thing that really made the big difference, that really turned the key in terms of starting the process of getting well, was I went to see a woman who did a little bit of channeling and a bit of a reading, and she said, you've got no idea what you feel. You walk around feeling and thinking, or all the thoughts and feelings you're having within inside yourself, most of them are other people's, they're not your own. And you're just acting and responding to those. So it was like, I was like a robot. This body was kind of like doing all these actions based on what he thought or she thought or felt, or someone passing by that had dropped it out of the car felt. And I just kind of like picked it all up and then acted on it, and I really thought it was me. I actually thought it was me. And the harder, because I thought it was me, I would try hard to live it and then kind of get some sort of sense of meaning out of it. And the harder I tried to do that, the more dysfunctional I felt, essentially, because it didn't lead anywhere. I wasn't sort of getting what I thought would be a meaningful response out of living out of or acting on what that thought was or what that feeling was. And I finally just got that, well, I started to get that these feelings weren't mine. I'd been living relationships with people based on how they felt and how they'd like me to act, react, think, all the rest of it. So I didn't have any tools at that stage, but just the simple awareness of how I was acting, where I was coming from, wasn't really me, was enough to start the healing process. And so one of the tools I kind of worked on to begin with was that I didn't start the day until I could feel what it was. I could feel what it was that I wanted to do. So I'd sort of get up in the morning and I'd sit on the edge of the bed and I'd go, okay, what do I feel like? And I wasn't working because I didn't have the energy to. So I'd just sit there. What do I feel like? And some days I wouldn't feel anything. And I'd wait until I felt hungry. I went, beauty, I can work on that. And so I'd go and eat something because I felt hungry, because I could relate to hunger. So it started off at a pretty, really primal level. And then I just worked on that day by day. It started to build along with some affirmations. So just simple awareness of what am I feeling, and the fact that what I might be responding to or from might not be me, really just started my healing process. From there, I began to realise that at that stage it was one of my greatest gifts, and it had been one of my greatest curses because I hadn't learnt how to use it. I still walk around a lot of the time feeling what other people are feeling, or picking up the thoughts that other people are thinking. And it's teaching me to be in awareness at all moments. It's just a momentary lapse of sort of conscious awareness of what's going on within here allows someone else's thought just to kind of imprint itself on me, and I'll kind of just go like that a bit, and I'll kind of like respond from there, and it's like, oh, lost it again. Can't hold my own centre, can't sort of, it's like dropped a couple of pegs, and it's like, oh, okay, it wasn't that. Work out what it was I just took on. let it go, release it, remember what was my centre, come back to finding it, and it's, back up a bit, feeling a bit better, feeling a bit more settled in me. And then where to go from there, what am I feeling? Okay, move forward from that. For me, I probably pick up people's feelings more than people's thoughts, and I'm sure most of you work from that level too. Thoughts we pick up on too, but I don't know, for me they're easier to discern. I don't know about anyone else. Thought forms for me have a sense of, as I start to act out of someone else's thought form, it doesn't have an emotional charge in it. It has a sense of working robotically, like the body is kind of like working robotically without an emotional charge to it. And I kind of like stop and think, okay, maybe that's not my thought form, that maybe that's someone else's or a group thought form that's really not me. So that's a little bit easier to kind of let go of for me, because it doesn't have the same kind of emotional charge. For me, I sort of working on my emotional body, kind of, that's really my weak spot. So other people's emotional responses kind of are the ones that require more work and more awareness, because they can hook into the weakness within the emotional body, within my emotional body, and trigger all of our stuff. And so we just sort of go into whatever our patterns are and run those patterns, because they've just, someone else's feeling response or thought form has triggered our issue. So we just keep running that as a cycle that just goes round and round and round until we get conscious and want to drop the whole process. Okay. So maybe we'll just go into sort of quiet meditative state. Feet flat on the floor. Feeling deeply, deeply through your heart, through the feet and the grounding cord, into the planet. And just feel yourself being aligned and centered, grounded here on earth now. Taking a few deep breaths and letting go any tension, any resistance in the body. Just become aware of what is being felt in all parts of the body. Feeling into the limbs, the arms, the legs, into the chest, into the heart, feeling yourself being aligned, through the central column, from the heart, through the grounding cord, and up out through the crown. And feel into the energy of the physical body. And move that feeling awareness out with each breath, gently moving the awareness out into the etheric. Moving it out into the emotional. And as your awareness moves through and expands in your energy bodies, become aware of what feels discordant. Is there anything there that's a bit sharp, angular, just doesn't feel right? doesn't feel like me. Moving it out, the awareness into the mental body. Just awareness of the energy of thought forms. Does my energy system feel comfortable? Does it feel free and clear? Or does it feel like there are things there that just don't quite resonate with my essence? And maybe they're not. Breathing into the heart. And we're calling on a deep sense of awareness and of beingness from our own source connection. With each breath, we want this awareness and beingness to move through our physical and energetic bodies. And as we do, this tags any of these discordant energies that are not ours to process. There may be feelings, thoughts, behaviours associated with these. We don't need to know what they are. We just want to let them go. They're not ours to process. Go into a state of surrender. Just letting go. Calling forth the violet flame to transmute, transform, or release any energies that are not ours to process. We now call on a spiral of light coming in down through the crown, and within this white light are split all the colours of the rainbows, the 7 rays, as a slow, gentle turning, moving down through the crown, moving down through all the energy bodies, taking them down to the Earth Star, violet flame at the Earth Star transmutes this energy into light, and we give it back to Gaia for her to use. feeling into our bodies. Is it feeling clearer? Is more awareness needed? Are there any energies there that are still not ours, that we cannot process? Feel into any of these energies. And we return anything that is not of us back to its original source. And we call down now a shower of light washing through all of the bodies, clearing, dispelling any residual energies that are not ours to process. And feeling into our body now with a new awareness. Does this feel different? Have I let go of feelings, of thought forms that were not mine? Was I carrying something for somebody else? We don't need this anymore. Did any of these issues trigger something in me to be cleared?